So we just wrapped up the last day of the Sports Nutrition Summit, and I couldn't walk away without interviewing Joshua Schall from Schall Consulting. So thanks for joining me.
I appreciate it, Danielle. Thank you.
It's been a pretty busy, packed day. You were on a couple panels. What were some key takeaways for you?
You know, I think for me, the audience was probably much different than I normally deal with, because I'm usually closer to the consumer on the brand side a lot of times. So I think a lot of the audience, you had ingredient suppliers, you had manufacturers, you had a lot of academics, and I think that it was important for me to kind of get my information out to them in a way that they could actually use it, actionable, because I think that a lot of times things I'm talking about from maybe marketing standpoint or a number of other areas in terms of like the market, I think a lot of times they think, oh, that's not for me. They think that's for the brands we sell things to, or let's just focus on what we worry about. But I was kind of trying to let them know, like, there are some ways to utilize what they are doing from the brand side and put it a couple layers back, be that influencer marketing or just like the way that they kind of brand their business or communicate with customers. I think a lot of the things for me, I kind of tried to give that out to the audience, and hopefully they got a little bit of value out of it.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the influencer panel, which we were on together.
Yeah.
I moderated that, and we talked a lot about the role that influencers play in marketing. And you said it's not going away, whether you like it or not. It's here to stay, pretty much.
Yeah. It's I always throw that kind of stat around that the grade school kids, like, their number one aspiration for like their career is a YouTuber or like a social media influencer. So you have this whole generation of kids that are going to come into thinking that's a normal job. That's their doctor, that's their baseball player, that's their astronaut. I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a social media influencer. So I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon. I think also just, we're talking like value. I think some of the stats around it's like 90% of marketers in the CPG world think that it gets as good or better ROI than any other marketing vehicle. So they're seeing value in it. I think it's like a $10 billion industry right now. So it's not a small industry in any sense of the imagination. So I think that people are just going to spend more and more, and I think 60% of brands said they're going to spend more on influencers than the year before. So it's just like compounding. So I think on our panel was, for my point of it, was that I wanted to make sure that people understood that it's there, it's happening. Now, how do you utilize it best? You live in this reality now. How do you actually use it? Don't try to fight against it, because I think that's a losing proposition.
Yeah. So I think by the year 2022, I want to say it's forecasted to be a $15 billion industry. So it's definitely not going anywhere. It's here to stay. A lot of companies are spending a lot of money on online influencers. But what was interesting that I learned was some companies are actually spending more on their influencing and their marketing instead of their product development and research. Did you know that? Were you surprised by that?
Yeah. I mean, I think on the panel I did today around the state of the industry, I made the point around, like, the industry is driven by marketing companies. As much as everybody wants to think it's around science, everybody's picking the same ingredients from the same bucket. Everybody's moving to like transparent labels and everything. So you're kind of putting all your cards on the table as a brand with your product, because somebody can come in and just copy it right there. They could see what your product has and just make a copy of it if they want to. So what it kind of comes down to it is like, what is built off of those products now? Is it what differentiates you? So Chris Gethin kind of made up the point around like influencers kind of launching brands. He was an influencer. Jim Stepani, which was on that panel, also an influencer. Why their brands do so well is because it's super unique. It's differentiated. It's like, you can't copy Jim Stepani. You can't copy Chris Gethin. Like, their personal brand is their differentiation. So I think that you're going to see that a lot more, because you want to do a great product, yes, but what are you building on top of the product? I think a good product's just kind of the entry fee to get into the market to compete. What are you actually doing that differentiates you? And a lot of times, like a personal brand, it's very hard to be authentically copying another person, so that kind of stands on its own legs.
Right, you don't want to look generic.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned, the transparency and different things in the labeling. What are some other trends that you're seeing in the packaging and labeling? I saw some interesting packaging with the QR codes. You can scan it and see like the batch, where it came from, all the background information on it. Is there things like that? Are you seeing a lot of that being incorporated?
Yeah, I think I like what you're talking about with like kind of the transparency or the traceability of things, like actually finding out maybe where the ingredients came from, maybe where it was manufactured, all that kind of stuff I think is definitely a trend that's going to continue to happen. I think you're seeing a lot more of that on the food side than on the supplement side, and that's mostly because I think food is a much more personal decision, I think in a lot of cases, so people are trying to figure out around like ethically sourced materials or sustainability, or they're trying to get to something. On the supplement side, they're really trying to just understand maybe what's in the product in terms of maybe where it was made, is it actually high quality, is there some testing getting done on the actual batches? They're trying to figure out to get over that hurdle of the quality, I think, standpoint, because that's usually what is holding back the sports nutrition world, is still around the stigma around quality and regulation, and I think that is where a lot of that kind of QR code, or taking the actual static label and then moving them off the static label. But I think we're talking mostly around maybe my brand and marketing side of things. I think what's interesting to me is because a lot of the products are getting sold now on digital, on in Amazon or direct to consumer, utilizing like really bright Pantones, really kind of basic, simplistic, minimalistic labels. I think you're going to see a lot more, because on the kind of digital listings, you have a lot more availability to like create different types of pieces of information that you don't have to put so much words on a label. Like sometimes these labels are very small. Before there was, the kind of the digital way for you to storytell, you had to put all that on your label, so it became really cluttered. Where then today you're seeing a lot of the brands kind of think more towards like design aesthetics and like how appealing can they make their labels kind of stand out on a white background on Amazon. I think that kind of stuff is super important, but those are all kind of things that I think are kind of moving in that direction. I wouldn't say that the vast majority of brands are doing that, but I think those are things that are kind of coming down the pipe.
Yeah, during the State of the Industry panel today, someone mentioned that people used to, Google used to be the search engine of choice, and now they're saying that it's actually Amazon now. Do you agree with that?
It's 100%, yeah. I mean, I think it's somewhere around 50 to 54% of people, when they're doing a consumer product search, they go straight to Amazon. That is far and away the leader right now. And it used to be Google, but if you're trying to get information about a actual product, a consumer product, why take that extra step? Like if you go on Google and then you look at a search result, then you click in again, why not just go to a search engine that's built around products? Most of the consumer packaged goods listings, they get more hits, more visits to their Amazon pages per day than they do to their websites a lot of times. So it's extremely important, just like second website or first website for a lot of people. It's your information hub a lot of times, because consumers that are trying to do that first research, they're tending to go on Amazon. One, because there's a bunch of information there. Two, there's a bunch of reviews, which is extremely important for just people trying to make sure there's some social proof around there to say like, oh, other people are buying this, other people love this. I am pretty similar to them. As much as people want to think maybe they're special snowflakes, you want to buy things that other people love. You don't want to just go off and always buy like something else, because it's not proven. So I think Amazon provides a bunch of information from that standpoint, but they also provide those feedback loops for a consumer to go, yeah, this is for me, I could buy this.
Absolutely. You mentioned the reviews, and I was going to ask you, why would people go there? But you think mostly it is because of the reviews? I
mean, the reviews aspect of Amazon is very special, because a lot of the websites before that, you didn't necessarily have them in a way that were maybe searchable, or you can get the information that you need out of them. On Amazon, I think it's also a part of the algorithm. So if things get rated very well, that product moves up. So it incentivizes brands to really produce really great products. And I know that Tom Morgan, that spoke on a couple of the panels, I know he does some stuff with you guys around like the reviews and analyzing the reviews, around taste and things that I think for our space as a consumables, you have to consider those things and how important they are to selling products. And with Amazon being a very big driving force of sports nutrition purchasing, reviews matter. You can't just hide behind your name anymore. People are searching for non-branded search terms. They're searching for pre-workout. They're not searching for Cellucor C4 or something like that. They're searching just for a basic non-branded search term. So there has a bunch of different things in that algorithm that would rank somebody up higher that brands have to consider. It's not just off of, you're the leading energy supplement in the market. That no longer is the only reason why somebody purchases you now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned Tom, he's from Lumina Intelligence, yes, and he supplies us with a lot of great numbers and things like that. What are some of your predictions for trends this year? Some things that we should be looking out for that maybe we'll be talking about at this time next year at the Sports Nutrition Summit?
I think there's going to be a lot of continuation of things from last year that I kind of talked about. I think you're going to see like a further kind of personalization or like perceived personalization in terms of like the products. Like I talk a lot around like fragmentation. A lot of times around social media trends and Amazon, it provides you the ability to get closer to a smaller section of customers and actually be profitable. So, we see those communities and tribes getting built around keto, or, it was paleo before that, or plant-based, or people are kind of attaching themselves to these things. And with social media being able to target certain customers, and then Amazon being able to create an ability for like lower barriers of entry for brands to get on and sell, and they don't have to have millions of dollars in the bank to be able to fund a Walmart or something like that. You're going to see more of these like kind of fragments kind of happen. And I think that's going to kind of continue. I think that another trend for me is the divide between brands of brands offering very economical products, being very kind of price sensitive and really focusing on that side of the economy, and maybe the divide in the United States of people that really want to maybe eat better or supplement themselves better, but they don't have the money to buy the most premium products out there. So you're going to see that kind of split, where there are going to be still a lot of the premium products and people building their brands off of the brand experience and maybe off of the really great formulas and all those kind of things. But I think you're going to see that divide kind of happen even more. Anybody that's kind of in the middle are going to struggle, because they're not going to really have a strong leg to stand on in terms of like where do they stand in the market? How do they communicate to customers what they're about? Because as a consumer, if you're going to buy basics, maybe you just buy the economical, you trade down into a private label, you save a little extra couple bucks because you want to maybe connect with a brand on their experience because you have a personal feeling about them. They can, you love their owners, you love everything they're about from a marketing standpoint, or a purpose-driven brand or whatever it is. So you're going to spend a little bit more on those products you care most about. But in the middle, it's like, what do they offer, I guess? And those are, to me, I think a little bit around two trends, like product side. I probably can name a ton of them, but I guess I'll kind of stick with the product side of things, just because I know that's a lot of the customers, a lot of the content, I guess, that you guys are producing.
Okay, so quite a few things to keep our eye out for, spoken like a true CPG guru and marketing ninja. Yeah. Josh, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to help support me, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button on this video. If this is the first time you've been introduced to my videos, would love for you guys to be a part of my community by subscribing to my channel. I upload several videos just like this weekly. And if you guys want to connect further outside of this platform, I do include all of my social media links down below. I just want to thank you guys again for your time. Hopefully I gave you some value in return, and we'll see you guys on the next video.